Jai Hind students. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the important concepts like environmental scanning, Michael Porter 5 force analysis, and the competitive strategies. In our first lecture, we discussed in detail about the components which are related with the business environment. We just discussed the micro environment and the macro environment in detail. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the environmental scanning. Environmental scanning is again one of the important concepts to study the business environment. When we talk about any business decisions are influenced by two set of the factors, internal factors and the external factors. And the business environment presents two challenges to the enterprise. The challenge to combat the environmental threats and to exploit the business opportunities. So, environmental scanning is one of the important steps in the field of the strategic management that gives the idea to the organization about the surroundings, about the internal and the external factors. While if we go with the definition of the environmental scanning, it is a careful monitoring. It is a careful monitoring of an organization internal and external environment for detecting early signs of opportunities and threats that may influence its current and future plans. We all know that there is a lot of competition in the market. And if you really want to grab the opportunity, so the organization must be very much clear about the business surroundings, about the internal and the external environment. So environmental scanning is a kind of a, you can say, a kind of a feature that is added into the organization that helps the organization in detecting the early signs of the opportunities. And even if there is any threat that is available there for any business, it helps the organization to detect it early. It is a concept from business management where the businesses gathers the information from the environment to better achieve a sustainable competitive advantage. If you are aware about the opportunities that are available in the market and about the threats that may impact your business, so you may take the actions in the reasonable time. So that's why environmental scanning plays an important role. If we go with the definitions of the environmental scanning, it is a concept from business management where the businesses gathers the information from the environment to achieve a sustainable competitive advantage. Early you know about the threats, early you can take the proper decisions. Early you know about the opportunities, earlier you can take the decisions which are good for the health of the organization. So that is the motive behind the scanning of the environment in advance, and that's why environmental scanning plays a crucial role. There are a lot of the objectives of the environmental scanning. The first objective is to detect the scientific, technical, economic, social, and political trends that are there into the market. Economic, social, and political trends and events which are important to the business. Defining the potential threats, opportunities that are there into the market available. Then promoting a future orientation in the thinking of management and staff, alerting management and staff to trends that are converging, diverging, speeding up, slow down, or interacting. That means, as a businessman, your eyes are there on the surroundings, on the whole environment, on all the minute factors that may impact your business favorably or unfavorably. So, this is the objective behind the environmental scanning. When we talk about the importance of the environmental scanning, it helps in the identification of the strengths of the businesses, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And the businesses or the business owners may take the proper decisions with the help of the exact SWOT data that is available to them. There may be the optimum utilization of the resources with the help of the environmental scanning. Like when you are aware in advance about the strengths and weaknesses of the businesses or even the opportunities that are available into the environment, the businessman can take the proper decisions, and even it may help the businesses to use the resources with the proper care. Like even the environmental scanning helps in the systematic analysis of the business environment which may be very helpful for any business in its survival and growth. Even the long term business strategies may be planned with the help of the environmental scanning. Environmental scanning also aids in the proper decisions, like the sound decision making may be there in the organization with the use of the environmental scanning information and the data. And environmental scanning is a concept which helps in the constant monitoring of the environment. So it is again very much helpful for the businessman to study the factors, both internal and external, which are associated or influenced or may influence the businesses. Then there may be various modes of scanning. It may be ad hoc scanning, it may be regular scanning, and it may be continuous scanning. Ad hoc scanning is a scanning which is in response to any crisis. For example, if there is any crisis that has come in any business organization, so they start scanning the whole surroundings and the reasons behind that particular crisis, and that is called as the ad hoc scanning. So it is really it is generally of short term, and most of the business organizations used to do it whenever there is any crisis situation inside the organization. Then there may be the regular scanning, like most of the business organizations have the regular schedule of scanning the whole internal and external surroundings of the businesses. It is an in-depth or the forecast in this kind of the scanning is for 5 to 10 years. Again, it is a proactive kind of a planning for any business where they study the whole market scenario. What are the strengths, what are the opportunities that are there into the market available, and how the organization can grab all that opportunities. So whenever there is a regular scan of all these kind of the minute factors for which may influence any business, it may really be helpful for any business to grab the opportunities in the market at the proper time. So that's why regular scanning again plays an important role. Then there may be continuous scanning also. Like in most of the organization, there is a continuous structured data collection and processing on a broad range of environmental factors. The data gathered is more comprehensive and it informs patterns, planners of critical changes, and that's why continuous scanning is again very much important for any business. There it may be the continuous feature of any organization to scan its environment from time to time. There is nothing like a period of 1 year or 5 years, so it is regular and continuous scan of the whole business scenario by the business owners to have the proper information for the businesses, so that the threats may be resolved or the opportunities may be grabbed. So there may be three modes of this scanning that may be called as ad hoc, regular, and continuous. Then environmental scanning. While we talk about the environmental scanning, there may be internal scanning and there may be external scanning. If we are talking about the internal scanning, it is the first step, or it may be called as the internal analysis. So while the internal factors of any organization are analyzed in advance, so that may be called as the internal scanning of any business. It includes the employee interaction with the other employees, employee interaction with the management, manager interaction with the other managers, management interaction with the shareholders, access to natural resources, brand awareness, organizational structure, main staff, operational potential, etc. and etc. While we talk about the internal analysis, it also includes the analysis to check how is the infrastructure in the company, hardware facilities, personals, abilities and structure. So to just check out the resources of the company, to check out all the internal factors of the company may be called as the internal scanning. And once the external scanning is completed by the business analyst, then they may go for external scanning also. External scanning is the scanning of the external environment which is related with any business. As we all know that environment is dynamic, nobody knows that what is a new change that is going to be implemented in a particular nation where you are doing the business. So it is again very much important to have a proper check and eyes on all the external factors which may impact your business. And while we talk about the external analysis, it includes all the political forces, economic forces, social and cultural systems, and then technological environment. So one should have the proper check on it. because if as a businessman you want to grow and survive, it is again very much important for you to know about or to collect the whole information from the external surroundings, so that you can just customize your products and can make decisions accordingly. So that's why external scanning again is related with the scanning of the external factors of any business, and it may include the scanning of the micro environment and the scanning of the macro environment. Then when we talk about the environmental scanning, how to do it? So there are total 4 techniques with the help of which we can go for the environmental scanning. They are named as SWOT analysis, pest, industry analysis and competitor analysis. So let us first just understand about SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is a technique, and the full form of it is like strengths, weakness, opportunities and threats, to analyze the organization strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. That may be called as a SWOT analysis. It is a technique where the internal and external environment of the organizations are analyzed with the help of its strengths, by studying the strengths of the organization, weaknesses of the organization, and the opportunities and threats that are available for that organization in the surroundings. So when we go with the SWOT analysis, again it is an extremely useful tool that may help the business owners in the proper decision making. When the internal factors are analyzed in the SWOT technique, so in that, like the analysts are trying to just analyze the strengths and weaknesses of the business, and whenever they go for the external factors, so that means they are trying to just check out the opportunities and threats that are available for the business in the market. So SWOT analysis again is very helpful in accomplishing the objectives of the business, and that's why SWOT analysis is very renowned. So let us just understand the 4 components of SWOT analysis in detail. The first is the strength, then weakness, then opportunities, and then threats. Strength includes like the characteristics of a business, that gives the advantage to that business over the other competitors in the industry. The examples of the strengths may be abundant financial resources, well known brand name, economies of scale, lower cost, superior management talent, better marketing skills, good distribution skills, and committed employees. And when we talk about the weaknesses, it includes the position of the firm where it is at the disadvantage. Like there may be a lot of the weaknesses that may be associated with any business. It may include limited financial resources, weak spending on R&D, very narrow product line, limited distribution, higher cost, out of date products technology, weak market image, poor marketing skills, limited management skills, and undertrained employees. Again, there may be the opportunities also that may be prevalent there for any business. Like opportunities may be like defined as the chances to make the greater profits in the environment. For any business, there may be the opportunities that are there into the available into the market. It may include like rapid market growth, rival firms when they are complacent, so your firm can take the benefit out of it and can go and can grab the opportunity and can increase its market share. Then changing customer needs and taste, new uses for product discovered, economic boom. So all these may be called as the opportunities for any business. It all depends on you that how early you are going to detect them and are grabbing them at the reasonable time. Then there may be threats also. These are again the external elements which are available in the environment sometimes, and these may really create the trouble for any business. They may just create this difficult situations for any business, and they are uncontrollable actually. The examples includes like the entry of the foreign competitors, introduction of new substitute products, product life cycle is in decline, changing customer needs, tastes, rival firms adopt the new strategies. So there may be many more threats, and it is really very important for any business to early detect the threats and to resolve them timely, because if there would be any delay in resolving the threats, it may completely ruin the business. So that's why SWOT analysis is helpful there. It helps in early detecting the threats and the weaknesses which are associated with any business, and again it helps in resolving the problems early. So that's why SWOT analysis plays a crucial role in any business. Like when we talk about the SWOT analysis, it is really very useful because it helps in setting the objectives, it helps in environmental scanning. Even the organizations may analyze their existing strategies with the help of the SWOT analysis. Even the strategic issues are actually properly defined in terms of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So that's why the strategic one may, as a business owner, can work on its strategies and can improve them, even if the old strategies are not workable. So with the help of the SWOT analysis, the business owners may revise their existing strategies and can just go with the new strategies. Even with the help of the SWOT analysis, the business owners got to know about the critical factors that are creating the difficulty in the path of the success for any organization. So that's why SWOT analysis again plays a crucial role here. And with the use of the SWOT analysis, there may be continuous monitoring of the results, like what is going on around, like what are the strengths of any business and what are the opportunities there. Can with that strengths we can grab the opportunity. So this kind of the things are available only with the help of the proper SWOT analysis. So that's why SWOT analysis plays a crucial role in the case of any business. There are few drawbacks also which are associated with the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis may be very highly subjective and it categorizes the aspects as the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats that may be very subjective, and there may be a higher degree of uncertainty in the market. Like opportunities and threats all are related with the future, and future is highly uncertain. So maybe that whatever you are thinking as an opportunity, that may really be not be an opportunity. So that's why like SWOT analysis again is a good concept, but somehow total dependency on it is not advisable. Then SWOT needs to be conducted regularly, but most of the organizations used to conduct it in a 1 year period of time, or after not after regular intervals. They used to conduct it after 2 years or 1 year. So in that case, the results of the SWOT analysis may not be like that whatever should be there. So that again is one of the drawback of the SWOT analysis. It lacks the detailed structure, so key elements may get missed in the case of this analysis. So there are few drawbacks of also which are associated with the SWOT analysis. How we can conduct it? First, analyze the internal and external environment, and after analyzing all the internal environment, that is after analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of any of your business, and after just analyzing the external factors, that means the opportunities and threats of the business, the second step may be to perform the SWOT analysis and document it. Whatever the information you have collected from the first step, just the like analyst must write it somewhere, and just whatever the information they have gathered, like it should be documented. There must be a proper list of the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats, and that must be evaluated very carefully. And then all the documented results must be ready to take the proper decisions, and these documents are really crucial for the future decisions. So this is somehow like how the organizations conduct the SWOT analysis. And then there must be a proper action plan. Once the SWOT analysis is completed, mark each point with that things that must be addressed immediately, like things which need to be addressed immediately. So they should be just taken care of immediately. Things that can be handled now, things that should be researched further, things that should be planned for the future. So the proper action plan again is advisable after the proper SWOT analysis, because if you have done a lot of homework, you have collected lot of information on strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats, but if you are not taking the action accordingly, then it is a complete wastage of the time in this kind of analysis. So that's why the proper actions in the reasonable time is also advisable if the business owners want to have the best of the results from the SWOT analysis. When we go with the second category, or you can say the second method of the environmental scanning, it may be named as pest analysis. The full form is like whenever the organizations are doing the business at the local level, or you can say at the international level, so they must go with the pest analysis also. Pest analysis includes like the analysis of the political, economic, social, and technological environment, While if you are starting your business in any developed economy or in any developing economy, so it is must for any business owner to study the political environment of that country in which they are going to start or do their business. When we talk about the political factors, for few examples which are associated with the political environment are as like tax policy, employment laws, environmental regulations, trade restrictions, tariffs, political stability, etc. So before entering into any foreign market, it is better to study the political scenario of that particular nation, so that as it will help or ease the decision making processes for any business. Then there must be a proper analysis of the economic environment also, and there are a lot of the economic factors. The examples may be like the rate of economic growth in that particular country in which you are going to do your business, the interest rates, the government policies, like fiscal policy and the monetary policy of that particular nation, then exchange rates and the inflation rate. So it is better that before entering into any foreign market, one should check about the various economic factors which are related with the business. Then the social factors. Before moving into any foreign market, it is better to study the social and cultural environment of that particular nation if you really want to survive and to want to build a good image in that particular nation or in that particular country. So while we talk about the social factors, it includes health consciousness, population growth rate, aid distribution, emphasis on safety. So all these are really important to study if you want to start your business in any particular region. Like it is really important to study the social and cultural environment of that particular region or even that particular nation. Then technological factors should again be given the importance, while if you are going to enter into any foreign market, the latest technology, the automation, artificial intelligence, rate of technological change, R&D activity in that particular region or nation, all these are the uh, various factors which are associated with the technological environment and must be studied in advance by any business owner before entering into that region for doing the business. So that's why pest analysis gives the information on four important aspects, that is political, economic, social and technological, and it is also one of the best way of scanning the whole environment for any business, and that's why it is again one of the important technique which is considered under environmental scanning. Then the third is the competitor analysis. Competitors again are really important for any organization, because if you have the various competitors in the market, so it may create a lot of difficulty for you to survive and grow in the market. So that's why there must be a proper competitor analysis. And while we talk about the competitor analysis, it refers to assessing the strengths and weaknesses of the competitors, and even it involves both offensive and defensive strategies to identify the opportunities and threats. So before going with the competitor analysis, there are few questions that you may ask to yourself, like who are the competitors to your firm, what are their current strategies, what are their future goals, what drives them, what drives your competitor, whether your competitor is vulnerable, and how are the competitors likely to respond to the strategies of others. So, in depth analysis of the competitors may be our best homework for any business owner. Like, if we want to just grab the maximum market share, so it is a must for any business owner that he should study the competitors and their strategies in detail. Porter suggested a framework for the competitor analysis, and that was consisted of four diagnostic components. That was like future goals, current strategy, assumptions, and capabilities. While if we want to study the competitors' philosophy and want to study their strategies, so we can study the future goals of the competitors. While on their websites, their vision and mission statements are available, even the objectives are available. So one may study the future goals with the help of that, and one may understand the assumptions of the competitors also. The assumptions of the competitors may be, they may be socially conscious, they may be conscious to the quality, they may believe in the best of the like environment. So all these kind of the assumptions again gives the idea to you, like what exactly they are going to do, what may be their next step. So to just study the assumptions of the competitors, that may be the second step in the competitor analysis. Then one should know about the current strategy of the competitor also. If you are aware about the current strategy of your competitor, then you can again take the best of the decisions for your business. So to study the current strategy of any competitor again becomes very important for any business owner, because it gives you the information about the competitor's philosophy, and you can take your decisions accordingly, and you may again raise your market share with the help of the current, by analyzing the current strategies of the competitors. Then capabilities, like one should notice the ability of the competitors, like one should be aware of the strengths and weaknesses of their competitors, because analysis of the strength and the weaknesses of the competitors again gives you the proper information about them. And then the like this kind of the proactive exercise may really be very helpful for you in future decisions. So that's why while working on these four important steps, there may be an exact competitor analysis by the organizations. Then there may be the fourth strategy of environmental scanning, which is called as industry analysis. So the whole industry may be analyzed, like with the help of like few of the techniques, the whole industry may be analyzed. The one of the important technique to analyze the whole industry is named as the Michael Porter five force analysis. Like Michael Porter, a renowned name in the field of the like strategic management, he said that like if you want to analyze the whole industry, you may study the five important forces that may have the proper influence on your business in the market. Like these five forces are rivalry among existing firms, threats of new entrants, threats of substitutes, bargaining power of suppliers, and bargaining power of buyers. The first important force is the threat of the new entrant. If you are doing really good, but if any new entrant enters into the market and he is more stronger than you, so it may really be a kind of a challenge for your organization. So that's why to study in advance about the new entrants for your business, it may just really help your organization to take the proper steps in advance to deal with this kind of the difficulty. But there are certain common barriers, entry barriers also to the new entrants in the market. So while if you are studying about the entry of the new uh, like organizations into your industry, it is really important to just understand about the common entry barriers also. There may be government policy that may restrict or ban the new entries into your industry. Like before liberalization, there were a lot of the restrictions that were imposed by the Indian government. So and time to time government used to make a lot of policies. So while if you are studying that whether the new entrants will be there for in the market in which I deal into it, so you may study the government policy also. You may check whether the government policies are in the favor of the new entrants or not. Then economies of scale. Like if you are a large organization has a good track record, so maybe that you may manufacture the products at a large scale and it may bring economies to the cost of your production. So in that case, the small players will never come in the market to compete with you, because they are already aware that you already have grabbed a lot of market share and you are just producing the like there is more profit margin to your product. You are providing the products to the consumers at a very reasonable cost, so they will not come into the market as your competitor. So this may again one of the important thing, entry barrier that one should study. There may be certain other cost disadvantages which are independent of scale. Like if you are already a big fish or a good player in that particular industry, you have your brand image, you have a lot of experience into that particular market, your learning curve is high. In that case, the new entrants would never take the risk and will never come to your like kind of the industry. So this is also one of the factor that may just work as a common entry barrier to the new organizations. Then product differentiation. If the products which you deal in are the products which are really of a good quality and there is nothing like a substitute available to them, so in that case the new entrants would take it as a like risk, and they will never be they like compete with you in that business. Then monopoly elements, if there is anything in which you deal into, it is like kind of a product in which the technology which you have used, on that technology there is a monopoly. And if you are dealing into any product which is a proprietary product, in that case again the new entrants would never be, they will never like to come as a competitor to you in that market. So that's why it is again very much important to study all these kind of the factors, sub reasons, before studying about the like entry of the new competitors. One should have always the analysis of on the all these factors. Then capital requirements, some of the business organizations requires the high cost investment, high capital investment, and most of these small businesses, they do not have so much of money with available with them, so that they can compete with your organization which is on a large scale. So this is also one of the common entry barrier to the new entrants. So this is the first force which Porter said that one should study in advance about the threat from the new entrants. Here you can study whole of your business while just studying all these points. Then rivalry among existing competitors. You may check that how many competitors are available there in the market for the products and services that you deal into it. And even one should check about the intensity of the rivalry among you and your competitors also. Again, there are a lot of the factors which are associated with the intensity of rivalry, like number of firms and their relative market share and strengths. One should always check whether I have 20 competitors, 25 competitors, 40 competitors into the market, and what is their market share. जितना ज़्यादा market share होगा उतने ज़्यादा ही वो like they may be very like dangerous for the health of your organization. The intensity of rivalry may be very high. And one should check the state of the growth of the industry, like if the industry is at the stagnant or the declining stage, or if the industry is the slow growth industry. In that case it always tries to increase its market share at the expense of the others. So that's why one should check while if you are studying the existing competitor, so you should just check about the state of their, the growth of their growth of industry also. Then fixed or storage cost, if the fixed or storage cost is very high, in that case firms are always encouraged to take measures to increase sales for improving capacity utilization or reducing the storage cost. So this is also one of the factor which one should study if they are going to study about the existing competitors. Then strategic stake, this is also one of the way, like whosoever is your competitor, how much stake he has put into the business in which you are dealing into. If that is a kind of a business which is really very crucial for that competitor or your competitor, in that case there would be more strategic stake and he would be more interested in competing with you. So this is also one of the important factor that one should study in advance if we want to do the proper industry analysis. Then exit barriers, like for example if any of your competitor has entered into your business, but for exit there are a lot of barriers. So in that case even if he wishes to just leave the business, he wouldn't be able to leave that business. So this is also one of the factor that one should study in advance. And then there are some organizations those who used to have the diverse competitors, like the competitors are so unpredictable that nobody knows that what would be their next step. So in that case again the intensity of rivalry may be very high, and it may create a challenge for you because you are not able to access or to judge your competitor that what can be its next move. So in that case, like if you want to study the whole industry according to Michael Porter, we should just check about the existing competitors and the intensity of rivalry with them. So this is the second important force according to Michael Porter that one should study in advance. Then the third is the threats from substitutes. If for your product there are a lot of substitutes available into the market, so it may work against your company and it may work as a threat for your company. So to just detect it early and to just check out the early threats and to take the proper decisions on them, that may be a you can say a good move for the favor of your business. So that's why it is again very much important to study about all the substitutes and what are the kind of the benefits while availing that substitutes, who are the company those who are dealing into the substitutes. So all that kind of the homework and exercise is really crucial if you want to study the whole industry in which you deal. Then the bargaining power of the buyers. If the bargaining power of buyers is high, that means if a lot of competitors are there available in the market, so it increases the bargaining power of the buyer, and you have to be very careful while you are selling your products to the buyer, because buyers in that case they are in the like good position and they may bargain up to a greater extent, because they always give the kind of the clues to the organizations that if you will not sell us in a favorable price, there are the other shops also, there are the other competitors also, we may move to them and we can purchase the products from there also. So that's why it also depends on the bargaining power of your buyers also, that what kind of buyers you got from the market. But if you are dealing in a kind of a product which is really extraordinary and like a product which only you can uh, the product you can only deal into, in that case the bargaining power of the buyers would be less, and again it will impact your business decisions accordingly. Then the fifth force which was given by Michael Porter was the bargaining power of the suppliers. Like if a supplier are few and the demand for the product is more, so suppliers may have the good bargaining power in the market, and whatever the price for the raw material they are expecting from the business owners, they are under the requirement to pay that price. So again, one should study the bargaining power of the suppliers also. If the suppliers are really high, then in that case your bargaining power as a company would be high. But if the suppliers are less into the market, then in that case they will sell the product at their own terms and conditions to you, and in that case the bargaining suppliers bargaining power of suppliers would be high. So all these are the five important forces that should be studied in advance if the business owners want to study the whole industrial environment. So this is all about the Michael Porter 5 force analysis. Hope that it is clear to all the students in the class. Then at last, government again plays an active role and an important role while analyzing the industry. Like government plays a role as a supplier and buyer, and there may be various political decisions that may impact the whole business. So government regulations can just set the limits on the behavior of the firms. Government can affect the position of an industry. Government can affect rivalry among competitors by influencing the industry growth. So these are the few things which one should study in advance before just going on for the proper industry analysis. And at last, the concept is all about the competitive strategies. In all the organizations, there is one competitive strategy that is opted by that particular business. The aim behind the adoption of one of the competitive strategy is to create the defensive position in an industry and to generate a superior return on investment. So there may be the various competitive strategies that may be adopted by any businessman or by the business owners or by the manufacturers or by any industrialist. So when we talk about the competitive strategies, they all are based on first the whole like SWOT analysis is usually conducted by the industry, and whatever they feels fit for them they used to adopt that kind of the competitive strategy for their businesses. So when we talk about the competitive strategy, again Porter, so Michael Porter, he suggested in the year 1985 that there may be three kind of the strategies that may be the option by any businessman. It may be the cost leadership strategy, it may be differentiation, and it may be focus. Cost leadership strategy, in this kind of the strategy, the firm tries to increase its efficiency by cutting the cost. They always try to just work for the consumers, those who do not have high or very good pockets to pay the prices for the products. They always try to just do something for the favor of the people, those who want to avail the products and services but are not ready to pay the higher prices. In the case of the cost leadership strategy, this strategy is based on the assumption that a small change in the price will significantly affect the customer demand, and this kind of the strategy assumes that customers have the high grade price sensitivity than the brand royalty, so they are more conscious about the prices of the products. So in this kind of strategy, all the efforts are done for the favor of the consumers, for the favor of them by providing them the low cost products with the high of the quality. The examples of the companies, those who are working on this strategy, may be the Vishal Mega Mart. Then the second kind of the strategy may be named as differentiation strategy. This is the strategy which is adopted by the firm, those who are really opportunist and those who just want to really do something extraordinary into the market. They deal into the differentiated products. They are not bothered about the prices of the products. They only just like target the population, those who have good pockets to pay high price, premium price for the products and the services. Examples are Nike, Sony, like BMW cars. So they only target the consumers, those who are like good, sound, rich, and can just afford the product. They simply are targeting the consumers, those who want the products which are really extraordinary. And then the last strategy may be the focus strategy. Most of the business organizations usually favor a single kind of the product and they just target the one segment of the population. For example, females. Like there are a lot of the brands, those who work for the cosmetics like Lakme. They only deal into the products which are made for the women's and they deal into the beauty products. So they are focused on a particular segment of population. So this may be called as the focus strategy. There may be like the Raymonds, that may be the example for the formal wear for both female and male employees. So they have focused only on a particular segment of population, uh, like the population which is associated with the office work or those who are the business class. So they are dealing only into the manufacturing of the like textile or the clothing. They provide the stuff or the fabric for this kind of the segment of the population. So this may be the focus strategy. If you will go into the detail of the examples of the competitive strategy, in cost leadership we can have the example of Micromax smartphones. They just provide the smartphones at a very reasonable price and they just try to just bring all the features of the premium phone into their products and even at the less of the prices. Then if we talk about the differentiation strategy, BMW cars may be the example of it. They are costly but are technologically advanced. So they just target the population, those who have the good pockets and those who really want the unique or extraordinary products and they are not bothered about the prices of the products. So this includes the like population or the consumers, those who want the branded products or the extraordinary products. Then the focus strategy, the kind of the organizations, those who are focusing on a particular segment of the population. Like I gave you the example of Raymond's, and then we discussed like there may be the family restaurants also. They are only targeting the families, and for them only they have just they are working with their menus and all. So they may being this may again be the example of the focus strategy. So this is all about the competitive strategies, that how they actually work inside the organization. And here we have completed the whole unit number 1 from business environment, and I believe all the concepts are very easy to understand and now you are clear on all of them. So we will meet again for unit number 2, and in that unit we will discuss in detail about the various macro factors or various factors which are related with the macro environment. So that is all for this lecture, and thank you.